There are some G.I. Joe characters that I have always wanted as 3 3/4 inch O-ring figures, and Super 7 is making it happen. Welcome to Pegwarmers, I'm Kevin, and I'm here to talk about toys. Today I got the Super 7 ReAction Plus Wave 5 figures in hand, and we're going to check these out. I was a big fan of GIJoe the Movie. I was very aware that it was weird as a kid, and I was very aware that it wasn't the same storyline as the comic, but it was so beautifully animated and so readily available to watch because it was the only G.I. Joe episode that I had recorded. I didn't have any of the regular episodes taped off TV, or I didn't own any of the FHE videotapes, but my friend taped the movie off TV, and my dad made a copy of it, and so for many years, once the cartoon was done, 87, 88, 89, maybe even to 1990, maybe 91, while I was still playing with G.I. Joes, that was the media I had to see and watch, and the characterization of a lot of the characters that I loved, and I always wanted some of the characters that played an important role in that movie, like Pythona, and we are finally getting her. I am super excited that this is the second wave of figures based on the movie. I'm sure there's going to be a third, because I feel like there's a few more people we need, but unless they complete the, like, Cobra La guys, they might be kind of out of A-listers, so I'm hoping they're going to keep going. So Wave 5 consists of Pythona, Destro in his Arctic coat, Big Lob, and Snake Eyes in his Arctic coat. I think you need Duke in the Arctic coat. I would like to see a better Nemesis Enforcer and a better Globulus. So if you did one more figure to round out that wave, maybe the Nobleman Cobra Commander, or save him if you're going to try and do yet another wave, I don't know. Maybe an Arctic, I liked Quick Kick's Arctic jacket, because he's always the, bare-chested guy. I'm trying to think of who else was great looking. I mean, Zartan wasn't that different, but he did have some, fur. He's a popular character. I think I would hope for Quick Kick, maybe. But I would love a BET vehicle. Maybe it could come with Dial Tone and Mainframe in their Arctic coats. That would be fun. I could see them redoing the Rawhides as O-Ring Plus figures, maybe. I've never complained about them doing another Beachhead. But I don't know what Super 7's got planned. I don't know if we're doing another wave based on the movie, but I kind of assume they will. So we'll wait and see. This wave had 2 guys in their Arctic coats. So like I said, I could see Duke, and Dr. Mindbender's another one that I would love to see done in his Arctic coat. So we'll have to wait and see. I've waited so long to have an O-Ring Pythona. I got to get her out of the package quick here. There was a Collector's Club version of her in the new Sculpt era, which was cool to finally get her. But I feel like this is how I dreamed of her as a kid, except maybe I think I kind of imagined her having one of those, capes that clip around the neck the way the Kenner Batman type figures would have worked. Or one that was sewn like Luke Jedi, where it would have the hood and the cape. This one is more like a vintage Kenner Star Wars vinyl cape, but it is fabric, or like the vintage Serpentor cape. A Lego cape, if you will. Holes for the arms stuck in a little fabric flap. Pythona, Cobra Law Emissary, file name, unknown. Primary specialty, Herald. Secondary specialty, Assassin, birthplace, unknown. Pythona is the royal messenger of King Globulus, and the harbinger of destruction to all that encounter her. She is a highly skilled assassin, and her stealth infiltration abilities are unequaled. Her kingdom and its cult-like followers have a burning hatred for humanity, believing the world's natural beauty is being destroyed by modern industrialization. This has set her on a path to spearhead its downfall. Her quote, "Prepare for eternity." Alright, so, I do think that they could make 2 versions of Pythona if they really want to stretch, because I think a version with a sculpted head with the cloak up and a better cape could be pretty cool. Her first scene, and kind of her most impressive scene to me as a kid, was when we really don't see the purple bodysuit very much, and she is running through the Terradrome, sneaking in and cutting through the fence and cutting through walls, and messing up in Crimson Guards. That is the combat version of her that I actually think is the coolest version of her. So I've just got Pythona out of the package here and get to check her out. They went with a really slender build on her. Very feminine. The vintage GIJoe line, they did try to modify the buck. Scarlet had a much smaller waist than the rest of the 82 Joes. But some characters like Jinx, because of the puffy nature of her outfit, she didn't look as feminine as perhaps they could have made her. This Pythona has very thin legs, very thin arms. She does have a light texture everywhere with then those spots painted in. She looks pretty good. I like that they went to the effort of making her cape 2 different colors, so she has pink fabric on the inside and black on the outside. Her ponytail is articulated. I don't want to break it. I'm not sure if it unplugs or not, or just moves to allow her head to move. She seems to have just a twist head like an early figure. It does have a little bit of a ball joint to it. She definitely has some movement in the head there where it kind of goes down and around, which I think we were seeing on some of these guys already. It's not quite as articulated as an 85, 86 Joe, but it's not as bad as an 82, 83 Joe. She looks pretty cool. She's got the face paint on, or tattoos, whatever they happen to be. She has her earrings sculpted in. Lots of nice texture. They managed to fit peg holes on her feet, unlike the original Scarlet. And her one accessory, besides the cape, is a large gemstone. I don't know if this was a sourced accessory, and they just found something that made a gem, or if they did actually sculpt this, or model this. But there is one scene where she holds a gem to kind of shut up the Dreadnoks. And they seem to not be very loyal, and she shows them a giant gem, and one of them says, "A gem of that size answers all our questions." I think Zartan replies to that after maybe Xandar says, "We don't even know whose side you're on." I don't think it's the accessory I need for her. She can't hold it. It's kind of like that spore they gave with the Once a Man Cobra Commander. It's hard for the character to hold. I think her, having her claws stick out, or having her squid things that she can throw, any of those things are more combat oriented accessories that I kind of like more. But then again, I know they know we're not really playing with these, so maybe they think this can just sit on the floor by her when she's standing on a shelf. So maybe that's where they're going with that. The classified version of Pythona is also coming with a gem. Hasbro and Super 7 seem to be in sync on a lot of these things, a lot of the movie love and the Cold Slither set, so I think she's pretty good. I would have enjoyed having her as a kid because she was such an important part in the story, and I know they say boys won't pick the girl figure, and maybe that's right. Maybe I would have picked a Royal Guard or a Nemesis Enforcer before her, but she was such an important part of that story that when I did have a huge chunk of the 87 wave, I was interested in her. Next up, we're checking out Destro here. Destro, weapons supplier, parentheses, Arctic. File name, unknown. We do know his name. Primary military specialty, weapons manufacturer. Secondary military specialty, terrorist. Birthplace, unknown. Was that information just classified around the time of the movie? Because we definitely know his name and a little bit more about him. Of course, they might just be copying that stuff off his original file card, where it may have been still a mystery at that point. Destro is the faceless power behind Mars, the largest manufacturer of state-of-the-art weaponry. To Destro, war is man's most natural state. It goes on to talk about him some more. His quote on the back here, Destro respects the GIJoe team for their combat skills and expertise, but abhors them for wasting such skills to maintain peace. He's totally dedicated to seeing them undermined, subverted, and destroyed. Super 7 always has really awesome packaging art. The artist they hired to do these did a great job. Destro has silver paint on his helmet. It's not as cool as the chrome helmet, but probably looks more like the cartoon does than chrome. His head can move on a slight ball joint. It moves around pretty well. He does continue to have the very thin arms that have been common with these figures. There is some mechanical detail on his hands, which are painted silver. He had gloves that with a rocket launcher on them in the cartoon. You can't see the rockets under his winter coat, but he's got that high collared red lapel on sort of like a all-weather long coat, like a trench coat type of setup there. It's got a belt buckle on it and some big buttons. His extra what I'll call skirt piece of the cape is very rubbery, which is nice. It's not sculpted onto his legs, which is kind of how they had done Cobra Commander. So I do like seeing that they're experimenting and looking at different ways of doing these things. You know, I don't know whether you want to try and put Destro in a Cobra stun to recreate his scenes from the movie. And, you know, if this works better for that. It definitely looks good, and it keeps from having to have the sculpt broken up at the knee, since this coat is longer than his knees. Cobra Commander's long coat ends sort of mid-thigh, so it doesn't really break up anywhere besides in between his legs and at the top of his hips. It avoids that knee section, but this just would not work the same way. I think he looks really good. He does come with sort of the standard cartoon pistol, which they've given to Cobra Commander before, which is a great accessory for Destro, and I'm excited to have him in his winter outfit. Yes, Baroness. Here he is alongside that Arctic Cobra Commander. You can see the difference with that rubbery coat bottom compared to the sculpted-on segments that are attached to his legs with the Cobra Commander figure. Next up, we're checking out Big Lob, who is also a render reveal from Classifieds. I didn't get to talk about him last week in the episode because his render reveal came out between when I edited the episode and when it gets launched. I think the Classified figure looks pretty good. I don't think he looks in the face kind of the way I picture Big Lob. Big Lob, my only reference is the cartoon, and they sort of avoided that design a little bit. But he looks neat. I like that he comes with the basketball accessory. I'm excited to get him as a Classified figure, but I'm really excited to have him in this O-ring style. Now, I have the O-ring Big Lob that the Collectors Club put out that used Mercer's head. It was sort of a mixed match of parts. It was not a bad attempt, but not perfect. There was also a New Sculpt era version of him that was another Collectors Club figure, and that one was pretty good too, but again, doesn't quite fit in with the O-ring figures. So I'm excited Super 7 did it here, and they made him awfully tall. So here's Cobra Commander next to him, and you can see he's at least a half a head taller. So I do like that they're playing with scale a little bit here, and I never really understood why they put Big Lob in. If he was like a red shirt, like they put him in to kill him off, it would have made more sense to me, because they were ruining a guy that wasn't a figure. But for all the 87 figures that didn't make it in the movie, why didn't they make one more guy be a renegade? Kind of a, or not a renegade, a rawhide. But what an odd choice, I always thought. And it was kind of a shame they didn't make him back in the day. He does have some very memorable scenes, like going through Beachhead's obstacle course with Tunnel Rat, and planting the bomb on the swamp fire he stole, and crashing it into the giant tentacle trees to free the Joes. Like, he is an important part of that mission, and very memorable because he talks in the third person. So I'm glad we've got a more movie-accurate version of him here, finally. File name, Bradley J. Sanders. Military Specialty, Infantry/Grenader. Secondary Military Specialty, Special Services. Born Chicago, Illinois. Rank E4 Specialist. Big Lob has been a top athlete since elementary school. He proved to have an uncanny ability to excel at any and all sports. After graduation, he chose to enlist in the Army Reserves and serve his country. Rumors of his outstanding sports prowess and precise distance grenade throwing quickly caught the attention of the GIJoe team. It goes on to talk about a little bit more. The quote at the bottom, "When Big Lob makes his move, he always shoots to score the big win." GIJoe the Movie had a grenade-throwing sports-themed character, and then right after that, the GIJoe brand released Hardball, a baseball-themed grenade launcher using a character. Always thought that was a little bit similar there, and then the fact that Big Lob wore number 14, and so did Bazooka, was a little bit strange. I see that his number is just tampoed on there. There's not a raised sculpt. Perhaps that makes this chest more reusable for whatever they have coming up down the line. I do like that his bandolier piece here with the grenade on it is a separate piece. That obviously allows the sculpt to be used for other things, but also you probably could remove this if you didn't want it on there. I'm not sure if you'd have to take him apart to get it off, but, you know, it is possibly removable. He has green camo pants with some pockets on the side there. And for his lone accessory, he comes with the classic cartoon rifle. He does use that at some points during the movie. It'd be nice if he came with a grenade accessory, but I do know that again, is something that would be hard to get him to hold, and so I kind of understand why he didn't come with it. I think he uses a pistol, or is that Tunnel Rat that has the pistol? He throws the grenade while Tunnel Rat's covering him, I guess. And then, yeah, he just uses the rifle at Cobra Law. But this is a decent figure. I do enjoy the fact I've got the Snake Eyes, regular Snake Eyes from earlier in the waves here next to him as a comparison, and I do like that they made him a little taller there. I think that was a great call on Super 7's part. Very excited to have Big Lob. It's not every episode that we get a Pegwarmers segment featured, but I was at Walmart the other day, and the concept series Cyclone from Master Universe Origins was on clearance, and they had a whole bunch of them there. When I reviewed him, I did mention that I didn't think he was a must-have figure, and it looks like a lot of other collectors felt the same way. So the final figure in this wave, who I saved last because maybe he's the least interesting, popular character Snake Eyes in Arctic gear. I have a custom Snake Eyes in Arctic gear in my collection that's just a 85 Snake Eyes head and legs, I think. Maybe just an 85 Snake Eyes head on like a frostbite body. That I've used, for years as an Arctic one. But now I've actually got him that looks like the cartoon with that slightly purple color. He's got the jacket that comes down a little longer. I don't know if they reused any of Cobra Commander's parts for that. At a quick glance, it looks like they did not reuse Cobra Commander's parts for his legs. I don't know if his arms might be reused from somebody else, but it's a good-looking figure, and you can't really go wrong with releasing Snake Eyes figures. Snake Eyes Commando, in parentheses, Arctic. Primary military specialty, infantry. Secondary military specialty, hand-to-hand combat instructor. Birthplace classified, grade E5. Snake Eyes proficient in 12 different unarmed fighting systems, karate, kung fu, ninjutsu, and is highly skilled at using edged weapons. It goes on to talk about him some more. The quote at the bottom, the man is a total mystery, but he's really good at his job. Heck, he's the best. So mostly text we've seen on other file cards. So it does appear that this Snake Eyes has the same head details as the previous released cartoon Snake Eyes, but he definitely has more articulation at that head joint. This Snake Eyes is purely side to side, and the new one with the Arctic has more of a ball joint there. It allows him to look down and diagonally down a little bit, so definitely some better articulation there. I love the sculpt work with the grenades and the fur around his collar. He looks really good. I really am enjoying these figures. Definitely has similar molding to the lower portion of his jacket as that Cobra Commander, even though it's not the same. And he comes with two accessories. He comes with that standard GIJoe rifle that they use in the cartoon all the time, as well as sort of the standard GIJoe pistol. I guess he uses them both in the movie at different points in time, so they packed them both with him. Pretty inexpensive here in the fact that, they're both accessories that we've seen a lot in this line. I think he does use the pistol when he fights the Royal Guards, right, and then gets smacked. The rifle, I'm sure it's in there somewhere else. Glad that they gave him both of those. That's pretty cool. I don't have a ton to say about him because we have seen him before. I am going to look at his lower legs. They are possibly the same. I don't know. I think they may have sculpted new lower legs. I was thinking from the knee joint down. They might have been able to reuse them from the other cartoon version. It's hard to tell. It's a different plastic. So it could be a trick of the light here, or it could be some slightly different sculpted details. They may be the same still. His knees seem pointier on the regular release than this Arctic one. So I think they did 100% sculpt this new Snake Eyes, unless, like I said, maybe his arms are reused from somebody else. They're fairly generic, but pretty happy to get him. Overall, with this wave, I can't really complain. I do think the quality is getting better on these figures, and I love getting new O-ring G.I. Joes. It really is exciting for me. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to take a look at this. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you collecting any of these? Are you buying just the the main new characters like Pythona and Big Lob? Are you picking up some of the other characters in like Arctic gear? I could see passing on those if you're not going to do like an Arctic shelf kind of thing, or you just want one version of a character. I could totally see passing on them. But I loved playing out GIJoe the Movie as a kid, like recreating a lot of those scenes. So that's why I'm super excited about these and couldn't pass up any of these.
The big sleaze bat belongs to me. This is for Gung-Ho, Alpine, and Bazooka. This is for Falcon. This is for me. This is for Duke. And this is for the US of A. You make me sick.
Do me a favor, hit the like button, tell YouTube this is quality content. In the comments down below, let me know if you saw any announcements from New York Comic Con that have you excited. I'm sure there was lots of new stuff from different brands that was announced. Some stuff on my radar, some stuff off my radar. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel further, consider joining us on Patreon. Share this video with a toy collecting friend, but most of all, thanks for hanging on the peg with me.